Good afternoon, everyone. Dear Bhante H. Kondanna. I should have called you Mahatero, but for the easy reference and to engage the discussion, I would call you Bhante. I apologize for that. All right. So as all of you inform, today is going to be another discussion. This discussion is going to be on which is better for lay people to practice. Lay people Buddhism or monastic Buddhism. Of course, we know we cannot separate Buddhist teachings, but there is a widespread misconception that people think that when they want to practice Buddhism, they have to always go to the deeper ends which the monastics follow. So, if we're going to do so, if the lay people always going to do so, if the majority of the lay people are going to do so, then they would sort of disrespect the teachings of the Buddha, which explain about the lay people life. So that's why I invited Bhante H. Kondanna. He's the abbot of Staten Island Buddhist Vihara. Let me paraphrase his bio a little bit before we jump into the discussion. Bhante Kondanna is a Sri Lankan Buddhist monk, but he is now American by nationality. He received his novice ordination in 1968, very, very long time ago. His monastic training in Colombo, Sri Lanka, I understand that you studied at Gangaramaya in Colombo, one of the very famous monastic training centers, even at that time, even now. And Bhante Kondanna obtained his Bachelor's of Arts degree in Buddhist philosophy from the University of Kelaniya. I hope at that time it was Vidyalankara University, and it was not Kelaniya, but you call it University of Kelaniya.
It was already transferred.
It was already transferred. Maybe the name was transferred to Kelaniya by the time you studied. And in 1985, you made a bold move, as you mentioned to me today morning, and you were in Singapore. You got an invitation to go to the USA. And then so you made it happen. But before you go into the USA, you were traveling, maybe you were staying in Singapore also for some time. So you have lots of experiences in the East and the West, not even in Sri Lanka, but also in Singapore. And you proceeded to the USA and then became a resident monk, Buddhist monk at New York Buddhist Vihara. And New York Buddhist Vihara was started by, as you said to me, by Venerable Jnanissara, Galabuna Jnanissara, but later on it was given to, or maybe it was taken up by Venerable Kurunayaguda Preetissa Mahatera, who passed away a couple of years ago. And then you spent almost, I think, 13, 14 years in that temple before you went to start off your own temple in the island, what we call Staten Island. And during that time, you were not even doing your Dhamma services, you also studied. In particular, you went to attend classes at CUNY, City University of New York, and you were able to obtain a BS in social work. Moreover, in 1997, Bhante Kondanna was able to obtain a postgraduate of the same subject, Masters of Social Work from the Fordham University in New York. And Bhante Kondanna believes that human beings should grow up having a spiritual foundation. Of course, that's such a very interesting claim. At the same time, he hopes that his contributions, experiences, and philosophy enrich and enhance the lives of everyone here in New York City and wherever he wishes to bring his proficiency. If I'm not mistaken, my first visit to New York was the time I met you. That was a very short visit that I was able to visit your temple. That was 2014. I made a short trip to New York and Boston also to Washington DC, and I was able to go to the island with that ferry. Yeah, so we were taking the ferry from Manhattan and then crossed the Hudson Bay, and went out over to the temple. And now Bhante Kondanna is trying to, I think, renovate or maybe make a new building. Okay, new building. So, so I think if you are in New York area, you can visit the temple. We have lots of people, 18,000 followers. My Facebook page.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay,
if anybody is near New York area, so you can visit his temple. We can ask information from him later. Bhante Kondanna, very nice to see you in Malaysia. It was a coincidental, and I think very happy that I met you here, saw you here again. And then you wanted to share, and also we both want to thank to Buddhist Mahavihara, which facilitate both of us during our stay here. Buddhist Mahavihara is located in Malaysia, in Brickfields. I would say neighborhood in KL Central, and they provide lots of services along the Dhamma guidance, which was given by late Venerable Kesri Dhammananda, whose reputation, whose influence has been far and wide. So we are very thankful to Nayaka Hamduru, the Venerable Chief Kesri Dhammananda, who passed away, and also the present Chief Venerable Kesri Dhammaratan, and also mostly to the Sasana Buddhist Society in here, all the officials here, President, Secretary, and all these individuals. All right, so let's get into our discussion. Our topic is going to be, which is better for lay people to practice, lay people Buddhism or monastic Buddhism? Let me paraphrase this way. Now, as Bhante Kondanna, you might have seen that the Buddhist trends that you see everywhere in the world, if you take, for instance, in the East, they have more likely a Buddhism that they follow enriched from the traditional customs. They offer dana, and they come to listen to Dhamma talks, they go for retreats. I think there is no better discussion about how to become a better Buddhist. Being a better Buddhist, especially being a lay person. Because Buddha talks about kama bogi gihi, putujjano. So kama bogi means someone who is experiencing, enjoying sensual pleasures in whatever the moderate ways, at the same time practicing Dhamma. But in today's narrative that you see everywhere in the world, mostly, especially in the East, where we both come from, that if you want to be a Buddhist, you have to always hit that big target. You must be a Nibbana specific. Of course, we all want to attain Nibbana, at least to become a Sotapanna. But there are lots of teachings, starting from Sigalovada Sutta, Pattakamma Sutta, that Buddha talks about that gihi, say lay people, layman, laywoman, they can consider their lay life to be a better Buddhist. So that is something that I wanted to ask you, and we are going to refer to one particular sutta today. This is called Pattakamma Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 4.61. Otherwise, somebody might think that we are just talking by imaginations. We are not talking by imaginations. We are talking based from a sutta. This is called Pattakamma, P-A-T-T-A-K-A-M-M-A, Pattakamma Sutta. This sutta is mainly about how to live a better lay life. We will be discussing that after. First of all, I want to ask Bhante Kondanna, what do you think about this topic? Do you think this is a relevant and a very timely topic to discuss, looking at the devotees, Buddhist practitioners? I heard recently somebody was telling somebody else, he told me that you cannot do business. You cannot make a lot of money. You have to practice all these deep teachings. You have to be always, practicing. But the monks practice, especially they have misunderstood what monks practice and what they practice. They think that they have to practice what exactly monks practice. There may be certain things that they may have to learn. They may have to practice. But what if that lay people forget about what the Buddha told them and then pick what the monks are supposed to practice? They ignore. So I think there would be a big issue, because then they are disrespecting the teaching, suttas, even the sutta that we are going to discuss today about lay life. Bhante Kondanna. So what do you think about this narrative? Do you think this is an issue? Is it timely?
Thank you very much, Dr. Chandima. I'm very happy that, thank you for inviting me. And also, as you said, we should be thankful to the management committee here too for us to facilitating this opportunity. As you said, yes. I think both parties, we monks and them both should be responsible for this. Reason behind that is sometimes they are eager to listen to the monks' Dhamma talks. What I see is mostly they are entertaining themselves in philosophy. In most of the time when people ask me, what is Buddhism? Some people say Buddhism is religion. Some people say Buddhism is way of life. Some people say it is a philosophy. I always say, they ask me, even here they ask me. Then I said, philosophy, when they say philosophy, that means he is not doing anything but he is entertaining himself or herself. You are happy. That's how you see many people. They like the teachings of the Buddha, they appreciate it, but they don't say it, but they say, I'm not there yet. Kind of attitude they are carrying, but they like it, appreciate it, and they go with Buddhist, symbols. Some others, they really come and they do this, as a praying like to the God. They are praying to the Buddha. You can see that most of the time, looking for good health, prosperity, success, and happiness. Even I think we saw that in the morning. This morning we saw that somebody, I was happy when that person is, even not only for himself, he was doing that to reflecting on his friends too, right? And I was so amazed that, he keeping that mind, and he for everybody with having great metta thoughts in him, he was doing that aspiration, recited. As a topic-wise, I think it's very appropriate if we can show them separation of this. Humanistic, some people they call it humanistic Buddhism, but that may be different connotation. Yet, I believe if we can explain it to them, this is a time for us to share it with them, that they would be, learn it properly and try to adjust themselves. So adjustation is not happening. That's why they are coming to listen to huge, deep Dhamma. So therefore, I believe it's our part. We have to, if we do, explain, clarify it to them, they would be thinking and they would be, working on it.
Well, I mean, if you can remember what the gentleman wished today morning,
Yes.
For those who might not know, the gentleman wished that may the dana offering that we did today morning help them to overcome their personal challenges, and then depressions and all that. It's a good wish. At the same time, I think all Buddhists have their own honest wishes, aspirations. So today, now, I am going to say how the Buddha phrased these honest wishes, how the Buddha saw what the lay people normally make wishes in their own life. So you cannot be exempt from these wishes, mostly. So Buddha uses his own phrasings, how the lay people make wishes in their lay life. Number one, I want to read in Pali just to make sure that this is real. Anguttara Nikaya 4.61, Pattakama Sutta. Bhoga, the first wish a layperson may make is, Bhoga me uppajjantu sahadhammenati. May I be able to earn money righteously. Without cheating on other people, without taking other people's money as a adinadana, or without hurting other people. So mostly, I would say righteous or proper way of earning money. Proper way of earning money can span over, I would say, Kuhana lapana nemitte kata, not cheating, not being hypocritic. And there's a different discussion, we can have it, but just to tell you that the Buddha said the first wish that every lay person, if you are a conscious being who is living in this whole in this world, you may mostly have this to be bhoga me uppajjantu sahadamme. May I be able to earn money without hurting, without cheating other people. Nowadays, if you can see that there are people who have no choice. They might have to do the unethical things. So, but this is a very honest, I would say, front level kind of a expectation wish. May I earn money with righteousness. Number 2, second wish. Now, these are gradual. Yaso me agacchatu saha jnatihi saha upajjaye yehi. Now, having earned money in righteous ways, may I be able to have a good reputation, good name. Everybody would like to, every layperson would like to be heard that other people are appreciating, other people are giving a lot of credit to you, that you are a good person, you have a good family and all that. So, that reputation will mostly come when you are doing well with money, finances. At the same time, at that time, the Buddha says, Yaso me agacchatu saha jnatihi saha upajjaye. So this good reputation is not only to you, but also to your teachers, other relatives and all that. So second is good reputation. Money, good reputation. So ethical money, good reputation. The third wish, bhoge ladda sahadammena yasang ladda sahanyatihi saha upajjayehi chirang jivami dighayum palimi. Now, having earned money in righteous ways, having got the right reputation, now you are expecting to live longer. You don't want to be sick. You don't want to be bedridden. You want to be healthy. This is the third honest wish that lay people have.
Longevity.
Live longer. The fourth wish is that lay people make is kayassa bheda param marana sugating saggang lokang upapajjami. That means after having good money, righteous money, right reputation, and then being able to live longer, having longevity, then because every layperson knows that they are going to die. So after the death, they all are expecting to be reborn in a good place, good realm. So these are the 4 wishes that the Buddha said that every layperson makes.
Yes.
Now, Bhante Kondanna, if you look at these 4 and how lay people think about their Buddhist practice nowadays. Now, it seems to me personally that Buddha has clearly understood what lay people expect, wish in their life. What do you think about these 4 and the mentality that lay people have? Lay people sometimes think it is evil to think like this. Sometimes it is evil to think that may I be able to have reputation, may I be able to live longer. Living longer is also a anti-Buddhist thing to them, bhavatanha or something like that. They might think expecting a good rebirth is also kind of a bhavatanha in the modern Buddhist narrative. So, if so, how do we understand these, honest wishes that the Buddha said about lay people?
But isn't that not all Buddhists are thinking such a way, right? I think people who have been listening to the Dhamma in deep Dhamma, whose desires for learning Dhamma, attaining Nibbana, so I'm a great Buddhist. Maybe in their mind, those people are thinking, I am a great Buddhist, so I know Dhamma. So maybe they are kind of proud in themselves. It's no harm. But as we said, as you mentioned earlier, monastic Dhamma, they are listening.
Yes.
Right? They are listening, which that Buddha addressed the monks. So addressing monks, he encouraged monks always. He said, monks, he was always emphasizing us, you can do it. Whatever I have done, you can do it. So he was encouraging, right? Remember, if you cannot do it, I would never ask you to do it. So this is how he was encouraging his disciples, his monastics. So this Dhamma is listened nowadays. Lay people listen to this. And also we forget. We also forget that. We also, whenever we have opportunities, it's nice to encourage people to, practice. But common people who do not, sometimes when they come, they don't understand what we are saying. They go, we see that, they are falling asleep, right? That is too deep for them. But there are some who learn and who was, always going, and he was interested.
Bring books, notes.
Read books, yes.
Bring books to write down.
Right.
Notepads.
They keep it, they look at it. Whenever monks ask questions, they refer to it. And sometimes even we cannot understand what they say. Something very deep they have, picked up, retaining in their mind. Philosophically, they are enjoying it and they are keeping it for themselves. And those people, they are the one who is thinking, going against this, what Buddha said. Buddha was making it simple for people. As he was reading this, paragraph, I remember that he was saying, this is the normal wish of the people. Because they are living in this samsaric life, and they even, you can remember now, sometimes King Kosala, we are kama bhogi. They can, they come and say, there are some people also mention that. We do this as we are cladding this, white robe, and we are people enjoying our day-to-day life. There are sometimes those people can come and explain it, their situation. This is how we are. We have no time to practice this. There are some sutras that...
And give a relevant teaching to us.
Right.
That's what they ask.
Right, exactly.
This is because we want something relevant to us. Yes. We are enjoying sensual pleasures.
Yes, yes. What do you think the people who are today? Some of them are there, some they are, right? We have to... then otherwise what happened, when they are listening to this monastic Dhamma, is it wrong for us to enjoy our life? Buddha did not, he didn't stop anybody doing that. Buddha understood, what, regular, our upasaka and upasikas, even though there are only 4 bhikkhu, bhikkhuni and upasaka, upasika, and 4 categories in the Buddha's kingdom, if I can say that, and only 4 groups, but he understood that. Even though he was encouraging, but he understood the mind, mentality of the people, and he taught. See now, Sigaravada Sutta, Vyaggapadya Sutta, Parabhava Sutta, those suttas he taught for people to understand, live a righteous life, what he was mentioning here. Not doing anything bad, damaging spirituality of themselves, or damaging other people's lives. I think simply, look at, if you read through this Sutta Pitaka, many occasions what he talks about 5 precepts. Right? Nothing beyond that. He's talking, of course, beyond that there are some deeper topics, but he always encouraged people to practice. If they simply practice it, if they don't do anything wrong, any harmful thing to them or to the others, I think he was happy about that. He was guiding those people because he could understand how difficult it is. Even though he wished, we know that he wished as a bodhisattva, he wished may he be able to help out all these people. Now, because of that wish, that's how he became a bodhisattva by when he met the Buddha Dipankara. Having opportunity for him to understand, realize the Dhamma, he gave it up. No. There are many beings in this samsara who needs help, who is in some suffering through this. So I have to help them out to find their own liberation. So that was his wish. But remember, after he becoming enlightened being,
he got little
kind of see, wow, what I realized so deep. Would there be people to understand this? Kind of, right? He had that in mind. Then the Brahma comes down and I invite, no, Bhante, please teach. What you realize, there are people with little dust, they can understand this. So Brahma comes and it's not for him hesitating to teach, but he start thinking about figuring out how can I teach this. What I realize is so deep. We can see that. Otherwise we should have been enlightened too in that sense, right?
Yeah.
I mean, many, when we look at it, it's deep, really deep. That subtlety we cannot still understand. So therefore, Buddha really understood depending on personalities, looking at the people, so he could, understand their needs. So for that, he was teaching for them to understand what they, in the level where they were. I think he did the right thing, but currently it's happening something different. So maybe we have to.
Is it okay? Let me sort of paraphrase a little bit. Now, folks, if you have any questions, please type in the comments, so I'll be able to see them and answer them. So you are also part of this discussion too. Your questions are not left out. Now, Bhante, the thing is that we have to tell our our rubric up front. Our rubric here is that there can be lay people who are enjoying sensual pleasures while practicing Buddhism. This is our rubric here. This is what the Buddha said here in this sutta. And you don't necessarily have to always think that if you want to be a Buddhist, you must become very serious in the monastic practice. Yes, if you want to practice those things, you can become a monk. If you are a lay person, then you must be able to understand these teachings. But unfortunately, a lot of people, they miss out on these suttas, as you said, Sigalovada Sutta. Where is it mentioned? Digha Nikaya, one of the very, I would say, primary text in the Sutta Pitaka. And if you take Vyaggapaja Sutta, this is mentioned in Anguttara Nikaya. If you take Pattakama Sutta, this is in the Anguttara Nikaya. They all are taken, Parabhava Sutta, Mangala Sutta, Vasala Sutta. And there are so many teachings scattered across the Sutta Pitaka. I mean, they are not regarded as Theravada Buddhist texts primarily. They are early Buddhist texts, because we call Digha, Majjhima, Sanghata, Anguttara primarily early Buddhist texts, which have the common basis to other traditions. I would say Theravada, Sarvastivada, Dharmaguptaka, Madhyamika Yogachara, right? Because somebody might ask a question, Bhante, why don't we see Kama Bhogi, the idea of Kama Bhogi in the Abhidhamma? Abhidhamma only talks about Dhamma matters. Now, what if a lay person is directly going to an Abhidhamma class and then turn over the pages in the Abhidhamma? Okay, Chitta, Chaitasika, Rupa, Nibbana, right?
Yeah.
There's no mention about a devotee, a lay person who is enjoying sensual life at the same time practices. So that's why we have to encourage people to start your Dhamma practice from the Sutta Pitaka, especially from your lay Buddhist things, and then you can decide whatever you want. So, Bhante, I think I think you really gave a good introduction about even how Buddha perceived Dhamma, and even how he was reluctant, and then how the Mahabrahma came and invited formally. So he understood that how to cater the Dhamma. He did not teach the Dhamma in the same way. Now, one very good question is, why did the Buddha explain Vedana in 2 ways, 3 ways, 4 ways, 6 ways, 8 ways, 108 ways? A big question. If the teaching of Vedana is very specific, Sukha and Dukkha, pleasure and pain, why there is a neutral feeling, and why in some other places, like Vedana Pariggaha and Vedana Sangyutta in Sangyutta Nikaya, Vedana has been given as more than 10, 20, 30. It is said that Buddha teaches according to the person.
Yes.
It is not that Dhamma is so and so.
Right.
So, according to the enlightenment of the person, Buddha picks up different ways. All right, Bhante. So now let's go to the next section of the sutta. Now, after Buddha mentioned about 4 wishes of the lay people, what were they? The first wish is, Bhante, you can explain.
First wish is to have the resources,
finances,
righteous
way.
In righteous way, he said. And then
Second,
number 2, he says,
good reputation.
Once you earn your living in righteous manner, and you become successful. That's what they are looking for, right? Success of that. When then good reputation comes on you. Oh, he's a nice man, energetic man, kind of reputation. Everybody's looking for that. When you're successful. So you are happy. Then what you next are looking for.
Third wish.
Third wish is
longevity.
Long life. Happily, healthily. You want to live long. and also while you keep doing your spiritual practice, Dhamma practice. So that kind of Buddhists, they keep going in that way.
And the fourth
the fourth one is, even not only for this world. So that is what times we talk about. Even successful here and successful there, hereafter. So they want to be in a nicer place to be born. So that's what the
Buddha thinks.
Oh, yeah.
The Buddha says that lay people have. If Buddha says that these are the wishes that the lay people have, then say for instance the modern way of perceiving the Dhamma life, not to create tanha. Yes, I mean, of course, it is good if you could. But as lay people, you have to think that Buddha also acknowledges that you can still have a good wish for your next life.
Right.
Right?
That is not bhavatanna, that's but somehow...
Yeah, it's something...
but
it's a very honest, very fair thought.
Yeah, because Buddha knew that it's totally not possible for them to just cut it off.
Yeah.
You keep going with that. It's not encouraging, but he knew this is how it is happening.
Yeah.
Eventually, this is how all the people are going through. Even the monks, look at them, right? We know that this is not the end of samsara. So, how other followers can have that end of samsara? Nobody can claim it. So, therefore, by practicing Dhamma, little by little, I always say, gradual practice, right? Anupubba sikka, anupubba charya, anupubba patipada. This is how Buddha says. According to Buddhism,
you can't hit the goal in one night.
Right. Yes. So if that is gradual, that means that we are going to be in the samsara. So that samsara, if it's not going to be a pleasure place, safety is not there. If we are in a safe place, better place, if we have set our mind to be rolled in the right direction, maybe then we still have a chance to continue to practice and finally attain what Buddha is teaching us.
As you mentioned, I think we need some financial security. We need, especially you as lay people, you need some financial security, and you need some happiness. Because if you don't have the minimal happiness, even the normal common happiness, how come you think about a better happiness, right? So I think the idea should be not to indulge in sensual pleasures. You are normally experiencing, enjoying your happiness, sensual pleasures, with the focus of Nibbana. But do not ruin your lay life only by thinking that I have to go away from the sensual pleasures. Right. That is going to be a misdirection.
In other words, not to be too greedy from them. Right?
Not to be too greedy.
Right.
Yeah.
Like what we say,
yeah.
Vadana.
Yeah.
So, by understanding, so have a comfortable, happy, peaceful life, continue to practice, and as far as you are there, maybe successful.
You come to a very good place. Can you give us a very simple example? Like there is some karma, whatever karma, rupa, saddha, gandha, rasa, pottappa, dhamma. So take one karma and say, how can someone enjoy that karma without being greedy?
Okay.
Yeah, for lay people to understand.
Yeah, I would say, I was always teaching children. My pleasurable place is my teaching children because, they are the new ones, especially when it's back in home, where we are. And for adults, they have enough heard the Dhamma. I always feel that's the one reason why I stayed back in US. Children were left alone. They had no guidance, so therefore I should stay here. I was told that I must go back to Gangaram and work. But I was always asking question, but who is there to teach these children? I know there are many monks, but at the time that I went to US, no children were at the temple. So I could talk to them, sit with them, play with them, and I
get their attention.
Yes.
Yeah.
So therefore I was teaching. I take one good example to them always. Suppose you like ice cream. You start eating it, but if you eat too much, that's not going to be healthy. And you become also, when you full, and that pleasurable taste is not there anymore.
Yeah.
So you will
Run away, yeah?
Run away, yes. It is not taste anymore because that's the nature of it.
Yeah.
And also, if there's anything what you say is too much, that means you have gone beyond the limit. So therefore, moderation is the most, that's what Buddha said. Buddha encouraged us to be moderate in everything, all this kind of indulgence. So, not to be too greedy, that's why I say always too greedy. So, therefore, we have to have our limit. We should know where we stop. Sometimes, I don't know, some people, certain situations, maybe not, they are not, balanced. With everything in this world,
They cross the boundary.
Boundary, yes.
Yeah.
So, therefore, that's something that as adults, as Dhamma practitioners, as Dhamma followers, all of our Dhamma friends has to do. And you have to see without crossing the boundary, we have to maintain ourselves. So it's maybe not easy sometimes.
I mean, in your example of ice cream, now let's take even a very delicious dessert. I think the real taste of the dessert is also experienced by anybody within a certain range. If you cross that boundary, either you will be spoiled, you are not able to further taste it.
Yes.
Right?
Definitely.
So I think it needs lots of, I would say, sati, at the same time understanding where to stop.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a very good example. And if you understand the other example of food in general, eating too less, eating too much. There are people who are eating too less, so they don't get enough vitamin supplements, and then others are eating too much.
Too much.
Yeah,
you can see them.
That's a very good example. Yeah. So, all right, Bhante. So let's go back to our sutta. Now, after Buddha mentioned about these 4 wishes, he mentions about 4 important virtues, qualities that every layperson should practice. Number 1, saddha. Number 2, sila. Number 3, chaga. Number 4, panya.
Yes.
Now, there is a huge, I would say, misunderstanding, enormous wrong thoughts going around about the meaning of these Pali words. And as somebody who has been in the US, in the West for a long time, especially you, probably almost over 40 years, almost, and myself for like 10, 12 years, what I understand is that there is a huge, I would say, misunderstanding is going on about. Now, when saddha is being translated, they translate this to be faith. This is a very predominantly loaded, it's a highly loaded Christian term. Faith means we should have unstoppable trust about the God. I mean, in Christian words. So if you bring faith to the Buddha, Buddha's saddha is not a saddha. It's not a faith, because Buddha asks us to invite us to inquire.
Inquire, right.
Although we are not able to inquire about his, even he invites us to inquire his tathagatahood.
Right.
In the Majjhima Nikaya's Vimansaka Sutta. But we cannot do that. We are not the right people to do so. But he even humble enough to invite.
Yes.
Please come and do not just embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
Do your study, do your research. So saddha, so what could be a good translation for saddha in the first place? What would you think?
We use that confidence, right?
Confidence.
Knowing him, whatever the thoughts arises, pleasure, it's wrong to say pleasurable. I don't know what translation could be. Normally I go with this translation, confidence. Knowing the Dhamma, seeing the Buddha, what he had done, you know that he explained what he had done. Certain sutras he talks about how he, was practicing. And seeing that, his great dedication, so we admire it. So now, even when we think of that first meeting of the Buddha Dipankara and himself, for him to decide not to attain arahanthood, right? Not to listen to Dhamma and to be in the cycle of the samsara by performing virtues. So that's a great dedication. We cannot even imagine of that. Now even in Siddhartha life, as a Siddhartha, His father wanted him to be the most powerful king of the nation, but he gave it up. And think of that, he left his own son the day he was born, and beautiful wife, and those whatever he had, he gave up everything. Can we do that? When we simply think of that, we have a great admiration. Wow, what kind of being was that? And not only that, he left and he went to the forest and he started without eating. He was just practicing meditation, thinking of searching for something that missing piece within him, something he felt missing, but he didn't know what it was. And to find it, he was just start practicing. And he was going through those other practitioners, sitting in one leg or gazing at the sun, right? During that, very sunny days. But why did he do that? If that kind of great dedication, we do not have. He was not crazy, but he really wanted to find what was missing.
What's the truth? Huh?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
What is the truth?
Probably what's the true truth?
Yes.
Truth means to many different things.
Interpretations nowadays. Yes. King Satchagavesi, right? That's what he was searching for. What is the truth? Where is it? So he was searching for that. That is a great, when you think of it, that's really built up something for you. This man is amazing. So looking at that is giving us some kind of confidence on this person.
So confidence has to be understood in a very broader context. Huh?
Right.
His sacrifice to a time of bodhisattva and his everything, right? That's why we have to trust him, right?
Of course.
Okay.
Of course,
okay.
Yeah. Otherwise,
Otherwise, you might end up with the Buddha statue.
Right.
Right?
Right.
I mean, which is just a figure.
I always say, even the statue, whenever you see the statue, remember this four what you call 10 perfections. That is the embodiment of those qualities.
Paramitas.
Paramitas. So this is, I always remind our friends, Dhamma friends, that those virtues, those paramis are not only for Buddha to be Buddha, but for us to be successful, whatever the goals that you have.
They are universal
Yes.
Qualities.
For you to be successful, you have to have determination. These are things that I tell children. You have to have determination. You have to set your goal. Once you set your goal, with the determination and with strong perseverance, when you keep doing that, you can achieve your goal. So therefore, Buddha statue is always reminding all those, perfections, and then you can start the day with seeing and putting your palms together. So this is what I encourage children.
Children too.
Even for everybody, not only for children.
So if we put a more broad contextual understanding about the Saddha, it could be unwavering confidence, trust about the Buddha,
Exactly.
Dhamma,
Yes.
Sangha. Because people are swayed, especially not about the Buddha, especially about the Sangha. Now, this is something that we want to tell about, tell for lay people. You might have unwavering trust, confidence about the Buddha, Dhamma, because they are not anymore interacting with you in person. They are interacting in your mentality, in your mindset. But Sangha is the community that may interact with you in the temple, on social media, outside. So, Bhante, there are people who have different understanding by looking at different Sangha. How would you advise people now? This is one good quality, first good quality that every layperson has to practice if they want to achieve those 4 wishes, Saddha. So, what would be your piece of advice to lay people to handle anything that they hear, which they do not expect about the Sangha? How should they perceive it? Should they understand it as a human error? How should they perceive that perception? Because people are struggling with good monk, bad monk.
Right. Yes. There could be. Of course, all of us are human. We are not saints. First, for you and me, let's say that.
Yeah, all of us.
All of us, including, right? And we have flaws and faults. That is acceptable. Acceptable in the sense of we are as a putujjana. Sammuti Sangha, right? We are not Arahant or the,
Enlightened Sangha.
Enlightened Sangha. So we do have that weaknesses we have, but it's still, I believe, if these monks can, our behavior, we have to remember, we all should be, what did Buddha say? Bahujana Sthaya, Bahujana Sukhaya, Attahita Deva Manussana. So how should we do? There's in his address he say, people who are for the happiness of many, right? As well as he said also how you should be going. The people who are pleased with, to increase that pleasure, happiness about this, and not to do anything harmful to damage their saddha. So that's how Buddha said. I believe all the monks who are practicing, they know and do it. At least this is his first advice. If we can remember, if we can go with that, would be helpful for our Dhamma friends to practice. And even if, from their side, if they see something,
not usual what they see in the books and in the Dhamma teachings, but they see something different, strange.
If they still should they damage their attitudes? I think they shouldn't.
They shouldn't. That destroys their Dhamma path.
Right. So I would advise our friends to always keep that in mind. So we have to. So whoever monks, doing something wrong, that is their karma, not my karma. I should be part of it. Otherwise, what happens is I also damage myself, right?
Yeah, my spiritual journey that I have been doing for many years.
Many years.
Why you want to jeopardize that? Huh?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. So if they look in that way, so in a way that he is forgiving himself as well as that person too. So therefore, I think we have to have that, among monks, we are all human beings, we can make mistakes, and we go with that. On the other hand, so we can think, that Bhante is not doing right thing, but he is damaging himself as well as he is damaging the others. So understanding that, we just ignore it. Or maybe if we are approachable person, you can tell them too. Right?
Yeah, in person.
In person,
yeah.
Not too huge, hahu in the social media, or anywhere else, criticizing it.
Yeah.
By doing
if you are doing on social media, you are not only solving the problem, you are actually destroying other people's saddha too.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yes.
Because others don't have to know that information.
Right.
So you are destroying, ruining their precious saddha.
Exactly.
So that means you are destroying many people's life, not only that one sangha.
Right.
Right?
Right. So therefore, I think we have to be mindful in that part, and you have to just cleanse yourself. If you can address to that person, personally. So Bhante, what you did was, you did something like that the other day. I saw it. I was not happy, or some people were not happy about it. So maybe bring it to his awareness, right?
You can fix it.
Fix it.
Yeah.
Would be, that's compassionate, right?
Yeah.
You are compassionately, you are approaching that Sangha member and trying to correct him. So that way, yes, I think good sharing of Dhamma.
Great. If you do as how the Bhante says, you are keeping your saddha.
Right.
That is what you are supposed to do. Second is sila. I think sila here means, as we understand the sutta, it's about the avoidance of the 5 precepts.
5 precepts.
Yeah. So I always mention to my people here that sila is not the mere avoidance of the precepts. I take a very normal example.
Right.
The example is that, let's say, as Bhante mentioned about children, let's take a 3-month-old infant. This 3-month-old infant does not kill, does not steal, does not have any idea about what is sexuality, no misbehaving, unless doing some rusty work. And then the 4th precept, no lying. Children cannot lie. And they no idea of the alcohol. They don't need to cloud the mind. Their minds are very clear. If so, can we call that 3 months infant old having sila? So sila to the text means an intentional avoidance. Right. I don't kill because I know I am creating karma for me and I am destroying other people's lives.
Right.
And I am not stealing because it is not good for me, it is not good for others. So here, some people might think that it is just a mere avoidance. So you have to create positive karmas while you are not taking those opportunities to do akusala. There are lots of, but there are lots of opportunities to do akusala.
Of course. Yeah.
There are very, little number of opportunities for the Dhamma, doing good things. So we have to be very careful. All right. Sila. Chaga here means giving.
Giving. But
what is giving here, chaga, for lay people?
For sharing, right? What we have, and also remember when we was mentioning in one place there's in Anguttara Nikaya, he was talking about sila. And he says, not only not killing, but you must have compassion and treat those animals. About when he
so sila has further layers, not only the mere avoidance too.
Yes.
You don't, and you have to be compassionate.
Compassionate and share with the other beings. Let them live. Support them to live.
Is that the Veludwara Sutta?
One of the categories. Somewhere in 5 precepts next to that one.
Okay.
I remember.
Good.
Panchakanipada.
Yeah.
And also he says, not only adinna dana, stay away from stealing, and also what you have, you must be able to share. He says that. So
you are bringing this to the chaga, right?
Right.
Giving,
chaga.
yeah.
Yes. So he said he encouraged for people to practice. Be generous. You are not the only one to live. You are living with other people. Suppose now, if your neighbor is not have no food to eat, so can you share something?
Yeah.
So definitely we all must be able to share something. When your neighbor is happy, I can be happy. When the people who are in the community is happy, we can be happy.
That's a bigger Dhamma practice. Now, a lot of people, it's a solo Dhamma practice. They don't think about others. It's me, myself, I.
Right.
Yeah, so you concern about neighbors too, other people too when you are eating. Huh?
Yeah. Of course, when you see that other person, poor person, have no food to eat, very painfully you can see that person is going to the market with the bag, to buy something. And if you see that, can you ignore it? Can you, your neighbor is suffering from some kind of, illness, and you may have to go and attend that person and take to the hospital. Can you do that? That's a sharing. I believe all these things are chaga, giving your time.
What is the difference between dana and chaga? Do you have any thoughts about it? Because we see that dana has been used, and in some of the very higher teachings we see chaga. Now even this is a basic teaching. Chaga is also chaga. Pali, in Pali I would tell is that chaga means chajati, chajati, C-A-J-A-T-H. That means to give up. Now dana is giving. Now even the politicians give some money. Politicians make a lot of things, but they may have some ulterior motives in there.
Right.
I'm going to get some votes from this electorate or whatever.
Right.
But when it comes to chaga, now so lay people must practice chaga. So how would you explain this chaga and dana? People who are giving with strings attached, people who are giving without strings. So
right, definitely.
Yeah.
I think chaga is going to be without attachment that you give.
To the object,
yes.
item.
Right. And dana, most of the time when we think of dana among our Buddhist community, always think, we should go to temple and give to monks. That's basically what, initially comes to their mind. So and Buddhist practitioners, not only Buddhists, do dana, see other people also.
Non-Buddhists too. Everybody, yeah. In their own religions.
In Kondanna, they do have. They practice it. In Islam, they call that 2% of what you earn, you have to give. You have to share. So that's taught.
Buddhists might not be happy to do that.
Right.
If you make it mandatory, you have to give 2% or 2%?
I give 2%.
2% of your income to give to the charity. Interesting.
What you make, during the week, suppose only 2% of that profit you have to share with the other people.
Even a Jehovah's Witness, I think. Probably. They may have some, Interesting. Bhante, there are a few Pali words attached to this chaga. Mutta chagu, payatapani, vasaggarato, yacha yogo, dana samvibhagarato. We will pick up a couple of words. Now, vasaggarato means being willing to release what you have. Release of what you have. Yacha yogo means you are somebody whom the beggars can approach you.
Right.
And
You must be able to give.
You are a very helping hand.
Helping.
Right? They can depend on you. This Pali word is very interesting. Dana Sangvibhaga Rato. I take it this way.
Oh.
Now, not every item that we own cannot give. For example, you have an electronic gadget.
Right.
You cannot give it to other people. Maybe you are only having this expensive whatever.
Right.
You can share it.
Right.
So here Sang Vibhaga, Dana is giving,
Right.
or else
Samvibhaga
sharing.
also
Things you
sharing.
cannot give, you can share.
That's interesting. I didn't think at that way.
All right, so you can give. Your example, you said there is a neighbor who has no food to eat. You cannot buy another meal.
Right.
Right? But you have leftover some food, so you did not make it use, so you're gonna pack it up, give it to a neighbor.
Right.
So you're still a part of this Dana Chaga concept.
Right.
Dana Sangvibhaga. Sangvibhaga means sharing.
In my mind, what I had was that you organize it. You can be, you don't have,
Yeah.
but you organize with your friend. Shall we do this? Let's go. These people, they are poor people. And then you go and pack some food. You get some help from other friends, and whoever cannot come, they do contribute something for you to buy. And then you pack them. Then we go and distribute them. So isn't that something?
Yeah, something similar.
Right.
Something similar because
Right. That's my initial mind.
community. So I would take it as giving and share. Not everything can be given because probably we have got it in hard ways, right? Maybe I have only one thing. Certain things like that. So I can only share. So sharing is a part of dana.
Yes.
Normally sharing, somebody might say, you are not releasing the whole thing. You still carry it, but this is part of that. Okay, Bhante, let's go to the panya part. This is another misconception. For many people, panya is that higher nibbanic panya. But here the sutta says, let me read that. Arya savako abhijja visama lobo chittassa upakkile soti iti viditva abhijja visama bang chittassa upakkilesam pachahati. So is vyapado tinamidda uddhaja ujecha. That means in order for a lay person to have their own panya, lay people's wisdom, they must focus on these areas. You have to get rid of abhijja and visamaloba. Abhijja means covetousness.
Right.
Covetousness means you are having extreme greed for whatever you have. Visamaloba means you are having extreme greed for what other people have.
Right.
That's pretty crazy.
Right.
You don't own it. So you have to get rid of those thoughts. Then you should not have ill will, vyapada. You should not have sloth and topo, tinamidda. You should not have restlessness. Try your best not to have restlessness, uddacha, and then remorse, kukucha. Right. You should not have unnecessary doubts. So lay people's panya is based on abhijja visamaloba, vyapada, tinamidda, uddacha, kukucha, vichikiccha. Then only a lay person will become ayang uchati gahapati arya sahayako mahapanyo putupanyo apata daso panya sampanna. Then the lay person will have a great wisdom, spreaded wisdom, and then he knows or she knows everything what has come to him or her, and he is with the panya sampanna. Now Bhante, can you demonstrate that higher panya, sila samadhi, that panya, and this panya which the Buddha says in this sutta? So how does a lay person practice this particular context of panya in their own practice? Now lay people think they have to practice that panya.
If they really know this one, they would be very happily, they can, every day-to-day life, they can enlighten themselves, right? They can increase their abilities, skills. See now, when we think of that visamalobha, instead of desiring, setting our mind on, our eye on somebody else's, right? What we have, maybe car, right?
Yeah, sport car, whatever.
Sport car, something. And also what with that it could be jealousy coming in that too.
Yeah. Why I don't have it? Why you have a Aston Martin, Lamborghini, Ferrari? Yes.
So then at least once they come to know this, they will be, I'm wrong, so let go of that. So at least they will awaken in that, right?
It's easy to practice.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Maybe that is their karma.
Exactly.
That's why he or she got it.
Yes. So then at least get rid of that kind of thoughts. So Now, once they get it, they begin practicing, right? That's Dhamma practice, right? I think, we should make them aware of this.
Yeah, so now for a lot of people, they think panya is that meditation panya.
Right.
Right? So that is completely incorrect. The panya for lay people is some relevant to abhijja visamalobha, vyapada, tīna middha, uddhacca kukkucca vicikicca. So lay people, please do your research on abhijja visamalobha, vyapada, tīna middha, uddhacca kukkucca vicikicca. That is your lay version of the panya.
This is what you can let go, vyapada, instead of carrying this anger, right? Vyapada is
Ill will.
ill will.
Yeah. Thoughts of destroying other people,
right.
attack.
That's aversion. That's a very mild version, and it could be something very deep, to hatred. So up to that point, that is something that we have to work out. I think if we do know, if we understand, and if we continue to work on, at least you can get rid of. At least if you know that simply, what we call as metta, we recite Metta Sutta, right? So we can say with a smile you start. You keep going with that deeper level. Deep level is that like a mother risking her own life to save her only child. So that's very deep. We don't have it.
Yeah.
So same thing of Dhamma friends, you also can start working on very little surface level. But this is important for us to let go of this, strong, what are we call it, unwholesomeness that we are keeping with us. So I think Buddha is encouraging very lightly, very simply, he is encouraging sharing Dhamma for us to practice. So I think then it shouldn't be bothered about the Samadhi, Panya, Sila, Samadhi.
Yeah, they should not bother.
Shouldn't be
And
bothered.
Bhante, the Metta Sutta clearly says a very interesting phrase. Nanya manyasa dukkha miccaya.
Yes.
Let nobody expect others' unhappiness, others' suffering.
Right.
Now, are we doing that? Are we always looking for some other's happiness? Do we make like this? May everybody in this world be happy. We will make it, but it has to be a practical thing, right?
Yes. Whenever you see things. I always, even here, wherever I go, I encourage people to try and recite this in Metta Sutta for a long time, maybe at least 7 times, when they're sitting.
Yeah.
That is, purpose is that I do that too. Sink it in their mind and they can...
One reading might not
Right.
give that, so the more you read,
it sits in yourself.
the better that it will go to
Right.
your mindset.
Right. So therefore, if you do that, definitely, that would help us to understand what Buddha said is, as a layperson's Dhamma Vinaya.
Dhamma Vinaya. Good.
I think there are a lot for us to simply go with our lives. So we make it harder for us, I think. Community, our Dhamma, some of our Dhamma friends make it harder for them. They're torturing them. They're beating themselves up.
Yeah.
So they don't have to do that.
Self-inflicting.
Right.
Yeah. All right. Bhante, I wanted to recap the things that we have discussed so far and then go to the last section. First, we discuss about the 4 honest wishes that lay people have according to Buddha. The Buddha says there are 4 wishes that every layperson has. After that, we discuss about the 4 qualities that every layperson has to practice. That is where we are now. The Buddha said you have to practice saddha as a layperson, confidence in the Buddha, Dhamma, Sangha, unwavering confidence. You have to practice sila. Primarily, your sila is going to be the intentional avoidance of the 5 precepts. And then the chaga, we had a very interesting discussion about chaga. Chaga is different from dana. So being able to give up while you are giving. And then it has both giving and give up. Activity will be taken as giving, but your mindset is giving up. And then panya here means being able to, or try your best to get rid of any thoughts that you may have about abhijja, that means covetousness. Vishamalobha means, there are dual couple words. Greed about what other people have. Vyapado means ill will. Tīna means sloth and torpor. Uddhacca kukkucca means restlessness and remorse or regret. Vicikicca means doubts about your everything, including spiritual life. Now, Bhante, we are going to the last section. Now the Buddha says here, now people may make money because their first wish is to make money. Bhoga me uppajjantu saha dhamme nati. May I be able to make money righteously, without harming other people, without taking other people's money in the wrong way. Now, let's say someone is making money as such, then the Buddha said they have to focus on 4 important aspects that they are going to use that money for. Number 1, let me make it a little short. You have to think about you first. You first. They say, the Buddha says, Attanang sukheti peeneti samma sukham pariharati. You have to make you comfortable. You have to make you happy. At the same time, you should grow in happiness. Samma sukham parihar. Then your mother, father, mata pitaru. Then your spouse, husband and wife. If you have mates in your household, putta dara dasa kammakara porisa. Then your friends. See, myself, my parents, my family, and my friends. Now, this is the first thing that you have to think about when it comes to ethical money. We'll go to one by one. There are 4. Bhante, what do you think about why the Buddha always asking us to think about us? Some people might think this is being selfish in a wrong way. Now, I think about a very interesting example. When you are on a flight, when you are on board, these flight demonstrations go by that when you want to use your oxygen mask, you have to use it for you first, and then only you have to set it up for the child. Let's start this from that point, that example, and cover this aspect, the first aspect.
I believe that you have to be safe to do, take the responsibility. Once you are covered, then you have time. You don't have to worry about yourself and do it. I believe Buddha used the same concept. And when you are safe, you are not worrying. With free mind, you do take care of the other people. So you can take care of your parents, you can take care of your brothers, sisters, you can take care of your family, your child, and your wife, and
anybody in your household.
In your household, even the others, maids that you are helping you. Thinking, so that's what he was guiding us. Reason behind that was that even practicing metta, ahang avero homi.
Abhyapajjo homi.
If you are not in that, how can you wish the other person? I think that virtue, that quality, you should be in the first.
But some people wrongly understand this. I first start with my metta because I want lots of love, and then I slowly, gradually go to the other. I think the idea is that when you know how much you love yourself, that is the level that you have to give it to other people.
Give it to others, yes.
Like same example, like the mother, one son mother. I think a lot of people think, what's the problem with a lady who has one son? Definitely she loves, and so are we. But the idea is we have to take the same love to everybody outside.
Yes.
Including me, yourself.
Exactly.
So Bhante, how do we take this? I think you already explained about it. The reason is that without having that happiness within oneself, you cannot think about others.
Think about others.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. Second area that you need to spend money on is especially Aggitova, Udakatova, Rajatova, Chorakeva, Apyatova, Dayadatova, Tatarupesu Apadasu Paribhoge, Pariyodaya Sangvattati. Alright, this means that we, like lay people, have some dangers when it comes to the money that they are earning. Some money may be taken away by the fires, some money be swept away by water floods, and maybe the kings might confiscate the money in the ways of taxing or whatever. Thieves come and take
it away from you.
And even the people we don't like might jeopardize, risk our money. And interestingly, Dayadatuva. Now in today's world, you make a will for people when you die with some terms and conditions. 60% of my inheritance will be used by you, but the rest of the 40% you have to give it to a charity. So when you name somebody, like somebody for my will or whoever's will, you might get certain problems with that person too, because he's eagerly awaiting your passing away, So you have to sort of do certain things, probably to protect your money, not falling into these people's unnecessary hands, is the second thing the Buddha said to do after taking care of yourself and your people around you. Second thing is that you have to make an emergency plan for your money. What do you think about this? How important is this?
It's very important, very important. Even you write your will for the person, you should be letting that person know about it.
Yes.
Then
yes.
you can be happily there. Otherwise you may have sometimes, maybe he's watching, he's waiting
He's
for
watching.
kind of. You have to be very careful with that.
Yes.
And I believe,
They should take some modern ways of saving money. Now, Bhante, at that time, people bury some places and then put the money, like Nidhikanda Sutta.
Yeah.
But the problem is, then thieves are eyeing on that. They're going to take things away. So they have to have some plans to save. Probably they go to an investment company. Probably they go to some plans, right? Some mutual stuff.
I think they have that life, what you call life insurance.
Life insurance
Method is better because I know one person who was, maybe he was a doctor, only 55 years old. At that time, he became, kind of forgetfulness. And later, knowing that, I think wise wife has suggested him to have, let's do this, life insurance. They bought it. And it went like that for about another 10 years as a doctor. Sometimes he has noticed it. Sometimes he forget the key. And
something like a dementia or something. Yeah.
And what happened was he was, Alzheimer's disease.
Alzheimer
ruined him. So he suffered for 15 years with Alzheimer. Luckily, that insurance
took care of
for that 15
what a wise decision she made. Great. So what's your piece of advice to people about this second aspect of money management ethically? You really need to plan for your finances to avoid issues from these areas, maybe natural hazards, maybe government issues, maybe thieves issues, even the people who might give you a trouble when you name as a, what do you call?
Last will.
Yeah, inheritor from a last will. So you have to make plans not to get caught up with these unnecessary issues. All right.
It's interesting. I was one of those kind of person.
All right. All right. The third.
Somebody had, sweetened me, so I put it into the temper.
Interesting.
I inherited something.
Okay, great. So the third section is to do Panchabali. The Buddha said, lay people must focus on giving whatever they have in 5 ways under the third aspect. Jnati Bali means you have to take care of your relatives as much as you can.
Yes.
Take care of the visitors who come to your house.
Right.
And then give good karmas to your dead relatives. Pubbha
Peta Bali. Right.
And you have to pay the fair tax to the government.
Right.
And then the last one is Devata Bali. Respecting the Deva. Now we see that in the Ratana Sutta, right?
Right.
I will bring that up later. So what are your thoughts about these 5 aspects of offerings?
Panchabali is really, I think Buddha was very, very thoughtful action, right? Well, I mean, of course, we cannot measure Buddha's wisdom. He thought over all these, cultural aspects. What people do, these are the regular things that we have to continue to do, and we have to continue those things. Like if you don't take care of, if you are an able person, you are taking care of yourself, you have managed your money, and you can do that, like, life insurance. And then afterwards, then definitely if you have wealth, instead of letting them be somewhere and create the greed, even for the children maybe. As you are growing old, sometimes if you just leave your wealth, what is happening is, sometimes you may be letting, sometimes some children, they are greedy. You have seen that stories nowadays. Some people, they have destroyed their parents and for the sake of wealth.
Even killing.
Even killing. That had happened. So you have to be very thoughtful. But however, managing your wealth, and also you have to take care of this as, your atiti, what do you call it, Jnati Bali. Take care of them. Otherwise, what happened to them? They feel jealous of you.
Whatever you have, huh?
Yeah, whatever you have. They think, they have, but what use?
So that means,
He has, but
very good point. That means, like, when people are jealous about us, we can do something to minimize that their jealousy.
Exactly.
Like,
Because of my wealth, that my relatives are getting really jealous and they are accumulating unwholesomeness, right? So we can, if we think about them, they will not be satisfied.
yeah, but at least you can keep up with them.
Right. You have to, time to time you can do that. Treat them nice, invite them, maybe when they are sick you can take care of them. You can help them to go to take the doctor and go to the medicine. And I think that would be very helpful for them.
Mm-hmm.
That would be at least, calm down their minds.
Yeah.
Or they are nice, they are still, with us.
Yeah. So
Otherwise, from distance, if you don't look at them, they will be very jealous.
They will be giving you more jealous stuff.
Yes, yes.
The second thing is about guests who come to your house.
When the guests are coming, so we have to be careful, right? Remember now, Buddha says in Sigalos, sometimes there are friends like they are coming in disguise form.
Yeah.
If they are coming just to have something for that reason.
Anya dattuha.
Anya dattuha.
Anyang attanghara.
Right.
Rapacious friend, huh?
Right.
Taking things away from you.
Exactly. So such people could be there, but you have to be mindful. But if somebody is coming as a guest, if we understand who he is, and we treat them nice and send them back. So that definitely we have to take care of that.
The third thing is Pubbapeta.
Pubbapeta Bali means that we always keep our, parents, our grandparents who passed away, thinking of them. We do at least once a year we do a, religious service. Dana. Maybe we go to old folks' home or we go to children's, orphanage and do the dana, and in their memory we do that kind of things. So such things are nice to do and think of them. So that you have a blessing. At least, even that Pubbapethas are not there waiting, they may not, who have gone is gone, yet, blessing is there, you're from your dana activity, your sharing part, at least those children are happy. Looking at the children's home, this children's happiness, you can be very happy about it. That build up your joy, your happiness.
The fourth one is taxing, paying tax to the government.
I'm very happy that Buddha encouraged this. Buddha is...
But people hate this idea.
I know.
Because the politicians, different activities, yeah.
I think that's why. Otherwise, people don't mind to give a part of what they earn because that is how that comes
manage
from
the country, yeah?
Country, right, management. But when they abuse it, people do not like it. So, however, we have to do part. I always encourage, nowadays, whoever goes there, I said, pay your taxes. I know that many people don't like you're hiding from the taxes. No. That is your duty. If you do this, you will benefit from that. There are people I have encouraged, and that person didn't even get the green card. She went back to Sri Lanka. When they talked to the embassy, you're supposed to get your, whatever have you paid. So now she's getting $250 every month. That's a big thing.
Like a tax rebate.
Tax rebate. Still, she is back in Sri Lanka. She is not even a citizen. But she paid her duty, so she is getting back. So something, there's always, when you are giving with a happy mind, that's a portion that you're supposed to give to the government. If they are unreasonable, it's unreasonable for all of us.
Yeah.
Right?
It's like a flight, huh? So unless we don't pay for the airline, they don't have capital to take us to the destination. Right? Because they have to first fill up the gas, they have to do the maintenance. Only when you pay, I would say beforehand, then they know that we get the money, we can bring you over to the next destination.
Wherever you want to go.
All right.
I think that's something that nature, yes.
And Devata Bali?
Devata Bali, I believe, what is that? Is that Deva Puja or the meritorious?
Now, Bhante, I want to bring up something so you can think about it. Yani the Bhuta, Tasmahi Bhuta Nisameta Sabbe, Mettan Karota Manusia Pajaya, Divacha Rattocha Harantiye Bali, Tasmahi Ne Rakkata Apamatta.
That was at the time culture that they had, because they were doing these offerings.
Yeah.
I think
so Bhante Ananda, under the aegis of the Buddha, under the guidance of the Buddha, telling the Devas who were in the Vesali, that these people in the Vesali were giving you all the offerings.
Right.
But you haven't taken care of them. That means Devas also have to be informed. Just because you offer it, they don't take it. Right? So they have to be informed, but they did not do the job. Some people think just because I place a flower tray, Deva looks at me.
That means you had to talk to them, right?
Probably that you are not enough. I mean, blessing enough. I mean, you are not giving something enough. So then Bhante Ananda says, because these people have been giving lots of things to you, but you have to take care of them without diligence, without negligence.
Negligence.
So I think here what it means is that we all believe Devas exist. The difference between the atheist and us is, atheists say there are no Devas.
Right.
But we say there are Devas, they exist, but they don't control us.
Right. Right.
Now
they are giving blessing.
They are giving blessing. So if you are doing well, non-human beings take care of you.
That means you have to give a portion to them.
Probably you are sharing good karmas at the end.
So that's what we do, right?
Devata Bali.
Wishing protection, we share the merit with them. So that's why we say Akasatthacha Bhummatta Deva Naga Mahiddhika Punyantang Anumod Chirang Rakantu Loka Sasana. Protect the world and the dispensation.
Yeah, Sasana.
Yeah, that comes from.
So we do that. We have to do it, but maybe not go to a Kovil and temple, do it in Buddhist way.
Right.
We have to think that they exist, respect their existence, and then think about them. Oh, I did a good karma today. May you be able to
share this,
receive all these good karmas. So Bhante, these are the five things.
I think that is, yes, Devas, I don't know, in our culture we have that, Devas are invisible.
Mm-hmm.
But for them, they are visible. They can see us. So therefore, we always tendency, Rukkha Deva.
Yeah, different Devas.
Akasata, there are so many different varieties of Devas. And however, we share the merit. Even that, in a way that we are still sharing.
Yeah.
When we do nice things, our nice activities, maybe we just, clean up the, shrine or the compound of the temple, wherever we go, and those nice things. So I'm offering. This is my daily routine, something that I do. May all this, may help me to cleanse my mind with this power of this meritorious. And also may this help the Devas to realize, attain whatever their goals are. So saying that we always keep, dedicating merits to Devas, I think that's important.
That is one very good way. And then Bhante, there is a sutta in the Anguttara Nikaya, I think. It says, Anisansa Sammajjane. That means what are the benefits of sweeping the floor? Maybe the temple, maybe your house. Sakachittam pasidati. You please your mind. You're happy after cleaning.
Of course,
At the end of the day, when
you're happy.
Cleaning, you're happy. Parachittam pasidati. Others are happy too. Now we are talking on the verge of Chinese New Year. There are a lot of Chinese people doing their own deep cleaning, spring cleaning. Finally it says, Devata pasidanti. One of the ways to attract Devas to your household is to keep your house clean and tidy. Devas won't come to dirty places.
Exactly. Yeah,
they cannot.
Yeah.
You have to.
That's why I make it, fragrance, and we smoke.
Yes, to attract
incense,
them.
Right? Attract them.
Yeah. Sometimes joss sticks might not work if the place is dirty, because you are doing joss sticks here. Rest is very dirty. All right.
That's a good point for today. Huh? Yeah. I think that's a very good point for.
Yeah, we have to attract them. They are maybe somewhere. We never know.
Yeah.
And Bhante, the other thing before we jump on to the last one, there are different devas as you mentioned, starting from the house deva, and then the Rukkha Deva, as you said.
Bhummata Deva.
Then all of them are under Bhummatta Deva.
Right, Bhummata Deva.
They are less powerful than the Akasatta Deva. So they all are responsible to the 4 world guardian Deva. Dataratta, Viruddha, Virupakka, Vesavana. They are under them. So anyways, there are bad Devas too. Because we know, because Yakka are also Devas in Buddhism.
Right.
Vesavana's
Deva.
Right. Some Yakkas did not like the Buddha's teaching Nata Nati Sutta. At the same time, when Devas come to see the Buddha, Buddha started talking about the impermanence, anicca. So
They don't like it, right?
they got dizzy, fell down to the floor. They thought that they will be there for long, permanently. They never like to exit the Deva world. But for lay people, what they should focus is that you can attract the Deva if you keep the household clean and tidy. At the same time, clean and tidy your mind, right? Not just
Exactly.
not just your property, right? All right, Bhante. Last section. Now we talked about you have to take care of yourself, mother, father, your household. That's the first thing with your money. Second thing is that you have to take care of your money in the sense of saving them somewhere for the future to get rid of all the assets. And the third thing is the 5 balis, 5 things.
Right.
That means you have to use some money for your relatives, some money for the guests, some money for your
Parents.
dead relatives,
Dead relatives, yeah.
and for tax, and then the Deva. Now last one, Bhante, it's about the Sangha. Mostly it goes by Samana Brahmana. Let me read that. Samana Brahmana Mada Pamada Pativirata Kanti Sorache Nimitta Ekamattanang Damenti Ekamattanang Samenti Ekamattanang Paranibbapenti Tata Rupesu Samana Brahmanesu Uddhakkikang Dakkinang Patittapeti Soaggikang Sukavipakang Sagga Sangvattanikang. That means now is the time you have to think about the Sangha. Now, a lot of people, they don't take care of themselves, don't take care of their parents at all, bring everything to the Sangha as the first place. That is really incorrect. You have to take care of your parents, and these things you have to fix, then only take care of the Samana Brahmana. We'll take a look at these words, how the Sangha was explained. Madam Pamada Pativirata. Sangha are supposed to get rid of conceit and negligence. Kanti sorache nimitta. They have to have patience and then their virtues. Ekamattana damin. They are supposed to take care of their self-manage their emotions. And then ekamattana samenti. They have to take care of their defilements. And one day they are supposed to paranibbapenti. If they are enlightened folks, they have to pass away properly. Bhante, now this is the definition of the Sangha. Now here it does not say Sangha, it says Samana Brahmana. Maybe you are a Christian, you may be a Hindu, you may be a Jain, so you are focusing on your own group of veneration, reverence.
Right.
So the idea here is that you have to take care of the religious people's Sangha, but as the last thing here, but then when you practice simultaneously. So what do you think about this part? And then after this, let's conclude everything today.
So Samana Brahmana is, as you said, mentioned to, we all different practitioners. So definitely you have to take care of Buddha always encourage, take care of your teachers. Remember to Upali, he said, Upali, take care of it. He's from the, Niganta tradition. What do you call this? Jains. Jain tradition. So he encouraged to take care of them. He never wanted to just bring someone into your group. That is not the idea. He was just clarifying what are the, right, what is wrong.
Upali wanted to celebrate, but the Buddha said, you don't need.
Right.
You don't need to hoist flags.
Right.
You just follow whatever you have been following, and you follow this one too.
Right.
Very humble, huh?
Yes. So if that is how his attitude was, so all of us can. So now, now our next door is the church. So those people can follow their, as their faith.
Oh, there is Sai Baba.
Exactly. Yes.
Sai Baba. This is, I think, Jain temple.
So everybody can practice what they are practicing and take care of those. Get the blessing from
everybody.
Your reverential, beings who are there. So that is what he was encouraging. I think so. Everybody can practice that.
Bhante, now after we looked at what the Buddha said about 4 ways of spending money, finally the Buddha said for lay people this. Yassa kassachi gahapati anyatara imehi chatuhi pattakami. These are the pattakammas. That your money is supposed to go into these 4 places. Number 1 is about you, your family. Number 2, you should have an emergency plan for your money. Number 3, you have to do 5 bali. Number 4, Sangha or your own religious people. If you don't do according to these 4, then your money will be attanagata, have gone to the places
Wrong
that are
place.
not necessary,
Not necessary.
wrong places. Apattagata, they have not really achieved the purposes, whatever the primary purposes. Anayatana so paribhutta, they were not properly consumed by others. So the Buddha said, if you really practice, use your money, finances to these 4 aspects, then your money will become tanagata, go to the right place, pattagata, go into the proper places, ayatana so paribhutta, that means properly enjoyed. You're going to be not blamed by anybody. You have a Pali word for that too. Anyways, not become blamed by others. Bhante, now looking at this whole Pattakama Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya, 4.61, right? 4.61. This sutta cannot be excluded. It is a part of our early Buddhism.
Right.
Just like Satipatthana Sutta, just like Metta Sutta, just like Mahachattarisana Sutta, just like Ratavinita Sutta, and all. They are stood together with other precious suttas. Then, what is your piece of advice finally to lay people here?
I think for our Dhamma friends, I should remind them, Buddha always looking at the personalities. Maybe in their understanding, Dhamma understanding level could be very different. I think what I suggest is not to impose your own belief to the other person. With understanding your level, be where you are and practice what you can. So not to be a burden to yourself or burden to the others. Because learning Dhamma is a good thing. But
You have to learn it in the proper way, yeah?
Proper way, yes.
Proper way. Everything has a proper way.
Right. Proper way, learning it and practice it. But don't be a burden unto yourself and burden to the others. That's my, piece of advice. Because some of them are, when you go to such and such Dhamma discussions, you learn it, and you try to bring other person. Other person may be not in that level. If that is your need, you practice it. But remind the others, of course, when they can participate in your generous activities, make them participate, but not to be, imposed on. Sometimes some people are imposing, do this, do this, do this.
Yes. It's like they are going to eat the dessert first, not starting from the appetizer.
Right. Right.
All right.
So practice. I always encourage all of you to practice. Continue your good practices. So that's could be you can continue in this Dhamma path, and you can gradual. Anupubba sikka, anupubba charya, anupubba patipada. Gradual training, right? Anupubba sikka, anupubba charya, gradual practice, and patipada, step by step, right? So when we do that, definitely you can be happy. Because sometimes you're making yourself so hard. I think
it's going to be dry practice.
Right.
Practice will be dry if you make it so hard.
Right.
Huh?
Right. Keep worrying, keep burning inside.
Maybe you can bring up that example of Bhante. What was his name, Bhante? The music monk? Sona's answer.
Exactly.
Sona was not happy with his practice.
Right.
So he was thinking to leave or something. So what the Buddha said?
He said, how is your... Didn't you practice music? Yes, he said, yes. How was your veena? When it's too...
Flute, huh?
He said veena.
Uh-huh.
In the sutra he said
okay.
veena, the word. So then he says...
In English we call it...
violin?
Okay.
Violin,
Yes,
right?
violin. Okay.
Yes. Violin. When that, not, tight enough, it doesn't produce beautiful sound. If it is too tight, what happened? Does it produce? He said, no, Bhante. Oh, when it's right amount, does it? Yes. So then he reminded him that you should be in the middle path, practice that middle. So similar thing for us too. All of us, as monks, as lay person, Dhamma practitioner, we all are Dhamma practitioners. I think we shouldn't be beating ourselves up, and just gently, let's try to do it.
We shouldn't be. Shouldn't be, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we have to
But be diligent.
Yeah, diligent.
With diligent, we have to work on things.
Interesting.
I think,
And Bhante, another very interesting thing is conceit. Now, when people learn Dhamma, especially from those high-end, philosophically satisfying Dhamma talks only, they might feel that, okay, I learn better than you, I listen to them better than you, and then over time, they may unconsciously be developing conceit, mana, M long A N A.
Yes.
This is a very big fetter which you will only get rid of when you become an arahant.
Yeah.
I think, what do you think? Aren't Buddhists supposed to be humble so that the more you humble, the better you practice your Dhamma thing?
Yes. That's, I always, I'm very happy that you reminded that. I always into wherever I go and for the people who are practicing, so when I always say, don't build up ego, because that is another hindrance by you are doing this and now we are building up another thing. So we are not supposed to do that. So therefore you have to be very delicate. Remember, learning Dhamma is a good thing, but if you think you are better than the other person, you already had another unskillful thing, side is developing yourself.
Going out of the track.
Out of the track. So therefore don't do that. So balance yourself. Very important thing. Everyday life we should be balanced, and spiritual life we should be balanced. So to do that, we have to mindful. That's where the mindfulness is helping you. So if you do that, definitely we can be very successful in your spiritual path. And slowly, you don't have rush. But even the Buddha said, like a person whose hair is in fire, that's for the monks, he said that.
Yeah.
But, I think those advices we have to keep, otherwise, you are really beating yourself up. That's, without that, balancing yourself with relaxed mind, you can learn this beautiful Dhamma and apply in everyday life.
Good, great. Bhante, let's see if anybody has questions. Dhamma folks, if you have any question, please type in. We'll take one more minute and then we'll then go to the conclusion. We'll see any questions if you have. Right. I saw a previous question. Looks like no questions at all. I'm seeing. One question somebody posed from the US. I think when I posted the flyer was that. Now today the topic is that lay people. Now our conclusion: the lay people should practice lay Buddhism primarily.
Right.
Right? If you want to practice monastic Buddhism in particular, become a monk. Right? But you don't have to necessarily. If you are, some people say that we are serious, so we want to become monks. I think becoming a monk is not the only serious option. Right? There are many people who became enlightened by being lay people. Sotapanna, Sakadagami, Anagami.
Even Anathapindika became Sotapanna and Anagami, right?
Yes, Visakha, and then even Bahya Daruchi. Right? So, our piece of advice to you based on the true Buddha teachings is that you need to practice lay Buddhism. If you haven't learned these teachings, please learn, please read, please put them into practice. All right, looks like no questions. That question was, the gentleman was saying, Theravada, in Theravada teachings, you cannot separate out lay Buddhism and monastic Buddhism the way how it exists in the US, especially in the chaplaincy. In the chaplaincy, they don't, a Theravada monk might not encourage a Theravada practitioner in the sense of helping the secular things. If you want to cater to the hospital chaplaincy, hospices or whatever, probably, what do you call the proper wording in the US? The chaplaincy. Maybe for the military, maybe for the hospitals, maybe for university. Either you must be a ordained monk, or else you shouldn't do it. So can we create a situation like a culture where even a lay person can practice like with all these things, sensualities, and then learn, and then to teach, help out this chaplaincy in the US?
What they're looking for is only you have to have a license, that's all.
Okay. In order to get the license, you must be trained enough.
Right.
So then that will be okay. Yeah. That is the license-wise in the US. I think his question is mostly from the Theravada culture-wise. Is it allowed? Permissible?
I believe so. We can, at least we can create something that nature in a way.
Yeah, yeah.
Even though we are not authorities, but
Yes.
what I thought
We have to be
was-
compassionate. Huh?
Right.
If anybody wants to do a service, why not?
Why not?
Yeah, yeah.
Right now, in the US, what we think is, that's a good place. We don't talk about yanas. No
Yeah.
Mahayana, no Hinayana.
Yeah,
Sometimes they use the terms, but that is
Little,
where
little, little pejorative.
Right.
Insulting to them. Yeah.
we all can get together. That's the United States. We should unite and teach Buddhism,
Yeah.
because what we have, Mahayana have.
Yeah.
Right? Our sutras,
Mhm.
they all have.
They also
But
have.
There are few maybe we don't have.
Yeah.
What they have, that's, we can, sometimes maybe we think late traditions or something. Yet, we all can come together and work, share the Dhamma to those people who do not know Dhamma.
Yes, Bhante, a question here. Rites and rituals are a hindrance to
Spiritual development.
development. Silabata Paramasa.
Right.
If proper understanding of the Dhamma are not instilled in the mind. Okay, so the question is that rites and rituals. and whether it is a hindrance to. So how you recognize?
If it is doing without understanding, it's going to be ritual, hindrance. Because they are just bound.
Can you name some of the rituals in that sense? It's a very sensitive question too. But can you recognize some rituals in the Buddhist culture that people do?
Let's say now, when we have bound to certain cultural elements that we call that after, somebody dies, we have to bury that person, and then we must do the dana in 7th day.
No.
Right?
7-day window, huh?
Right.
You must. Yeah.
Do you have to go with that 7th day, or then what happens if you cannot do it? If you are not,
Now my question is the departed person waiting for 7 days? Right? Because he has to go and he has to wait for this beautiful 7-day ceremony. 7 days. And it's too long for him. Yes.
Yeah, these are all these cultural, for certain situations, what happened during the time.
Yes.
But
So what is your advice? I mean, do
my
you...
advice, I don't
If
have-
you are in Sri Lanka, then the monks will say 7 days.
Yes.
You cannot do in 2 days.
Right.
Because they have other events going on, yeah, right?
Yes. And for now, suppose now we are in Malaysia, if they have that kind of attitude, so they have to go, they really stick into that, and if they cannot do it within 7 days, in the 7th day, they will be really upset about it.
Mm-hmm.
Then even what is the use of doing that ritual even afterwards? Now,
Yeah.
its mind is already spoiled.
Mm-hmm.
No bearing for it anymore. So therefore, those things we can let loose actually. I encourage people, okay, doesn't matter. Let's do it not the same day. Sometimes people ask 3 months. Oh, Sunday comes this Bhante, 2 days before that, is it okay? So kind of, those kind
It
of...
should be okay, right? I mean, if it gets changed, you should not be blindly
follow
really,
it, understand the meaning. What's the meaning of, not really exactly in 3 months, but during that time, if you can think of that person and do something and, share the merit. Not only going to run to the temple and do for dana, but you can do something else too.
Yeah. Before that time too, right? Yeah.
Even before that time.
Yeah.
So you can do something and share the merit.
Okay.
What you do is as a Nyati Bali, right?
Nyati Bali, yes. Pubbapeta Bali, yes.
Pubbapeta Bali.
Yeah.
That's what he said. Do it in thinking of them. But you are the one. How do we know that they are expecting? They may not expecting it.
Yeah.
But
may or they may not.
they may not.
Yeah.
Yes. Then what happens is that, but at least you are improving your spirituality in sense of your metta. You are very compassionate. You show your compassion to them, and I think that's what you are improving. Your own skills you are improving. So you are benefiting from that, either they benefit or not.
So Bhante, what you are saying is that in case somebody, a layperson might miss out on that particular date, it's okay.
It's okay.
Okay. So then, Silabbata Paramasa means if you are only struggling for that particular day, otherwise merits don't go.
Right.
All right, Bhante, I think we have kind of passed the time. So can you explain to us about your temple in Saturn Island? So yes.
It's really funny in a way that I have been there for 24 years. I didn't build. I was helping all the temples to build.
Other temples.
Other temples. Other temples came to exist because, I went around and established Dhamma schools. Dhamma schools makes them a temple. They need it. So this is how things happen. But when the others are starting building, I don't want to be a burden to people, they are in here. So but blame comes back to me because, you are helping everybody else, you are not helping your own temple.
Yeah.
So my community where I live, they are not happy with me. But somehow, just recently before I leave, I had the groundbreaking ceremony and I asked them, now all of you should get together and start building this.
Yeah.
But I have given them permission. You can go around and help all the temples, but remember, you have to build your village temple. It's like a village, so therefore I encourage them. I think they're not. I really had a bad time with, burdening people. But right now, I always encourage, them, come together and you can do it.
Yeah.
But it's very expensive though. In the US, 3.5 million means a big amount of money.
So you have a new project
Yes.
that is approximately costing $3.9 million US dollars.
Yes.
And then, all right. So how is your membership? How many people?
In that village, there are people always say there are 5,000 Buddhists.
I mean, Malaysian people don't get into a kampung. Huh? This is not a kampung kind of, it's a city. Staten Island.
But my feeling is that these people, they are having very hard work. You have apartment to build, it's very expensive.
3.9 million means such a
big amount.
Yeah, big amount.
I couldn't agree with those people. I gave it up.
Yeah.
No.
Estimate.
Yes, I told no. I don't want to go for that. That budget is too difficult for this community. They are not rich enough. They are poor people. I'm here because they are just to help them out, just to help their children out.
Maybe an ongoing project that will take some time. So what I can say is that if anybody is here in the US from New York, Pennsylvania, or maybe US country, so you could probably visit your temple.
Stop by,
Maybe you can help out in a way. Yeah, that is another thing too. So Bhante, thank you very much. Anumodana to you. I'm very happy and blessed because I haven't brought another Bhante to my this page. First time I brought. So a lot of people learn a lot of things, and then you having, widely traveled in the US since 1985, and then traveling everywhere else, and have earned lots of experiential, hands-on knowledge about Dhamma and true teachings here. So I think they are very precious. So thank you for sharing all that.
Thank you very much.
And I hope that many people learn a lot from you.
I'm happy that I had a chance. Thank you very much for inviting me. Yeah. I'm happy. So we always should be sharing what we know. That is our duty. I always say, even a lay person, the friends who are coming to Dhamma, go and share it. Whatever you know.
Don't keep it. What if you die?
Yes.
What if you die? Actually, someone told me, Bhante, why don't you, long time ago, I think 10 years ago, a white lady told me, Bhante, why don't you write a book? I said, why? What if you die? The whole knowledge will die too.
Die too. Yes.
Interesting.
Yes. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, friends. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good evening.
Blessings.
Thank you, everybody. Have a good evening. You can watch the rest of the video as a